Hey everybody, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I am back from vacation. So I'm excited to share with you a ScrapBuster. So I got a bunch of requests for this video after I posted some similar items on Instagram and my Facebook page. And it's these collaged flowers, and depending on the papers you use, they can look completely different. Mine are all kind of in the same color palette, which is what I love, right? Some of the fall colors and book page and all of that. These two I put some words, a quote on. This one I didn't, and I have some other ideas. I just made these into tags, but you could certainly I think make a beautiful journal cover and different things using the same technique. This one, I didn't trim the petals off like I did on these two. So anyway, it's super easy. You guys are gonna be like, oh, wow, okay, easy. And I did add, and I'm trying to let them dry, some liquid pearls, and you could, these come in all different colors. I really like this one. Which one is this? I don't know. I don't know if it tells me. It kind of is a goldy or bronzy kind of color. Anyway, okay. And I get these on Amazon. I'll try to remember to link them, but it's liquid pearls and it's by Ranger. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna make some. I don't have the original ones that I posted. I thought I had done a video on this a long time ago, and I've looked and can't find it, so I must have just dreamed that I did. But I'm gonna show you quickly how I cut my petals and then how you start building your flowers. So I tend to find a piece of paper that I wanna cut some petals out of, and I'll do 2 or 3 layers. And this happens to be scraps printed on cardstock. You can definitely, again, I do book page, just whatever you have, scrapbook paper, whatever scraps you have or paper you want to use. And I freehand my petals. And unless I'm making something small, I do find the larger petals, for me anyway, work a little bit better than teeny tiny ones, but we can certainly make a smaller flower too. So I'll probably do a few different ones, but I just kind of make a petal shape, and you can certainly, make it have more of a, of a round bulb. You can probably get more out of your scraps than I am. They certainly don't have to be single-sided or double-sided paper. This one I'm going to be brave and try 4. And if you start at the corner, that might help you when you're first starting, get a shape you're happy with. And you can kind of do a freehand corner to corner or something like that. I don't know if that made sense. We'll do it again. So if you start at a corner and go up, and then you can just go to, where you cut it, cut down. See, all different shapes work, and they work together too. So anyway, I already have quite a few cut. Let me cut a few more out of some book page. And again, I like having the print, the font. So I tend to not cut it on, where the edge is. Let me show you too. If you want to make it more like a round one, you can do that. Okay, so you don't have to make them pointy like I've been doing. You can do different shaped petals, okay? Now, I would probably put the pointy ones together and the round ones together, but that's just me. Maybe it would look good if you didn't. You're also going to eventually punch some circles. And here I used one of my faux buttons. I have a freebie on my Buy Me a Coffee that has all different kinds of buttons. So that would be fun, but you can also just use a variety of circles, and we can punch some circles too, but I'll pull some out. And depending on the size you make, whatever size. Now, the ones that I showed you that I did, this happens to be a piece of book page that is already glued to some paper. I don't know what I was doing. I also just glued some book page together. I think this is maybe three sheets, and just laid them on here, maybe with some other papers. And then I started thinking, this is a piece of a collage masterboard that I have. This might be fun too, to make some flowers on that. So let's start with just a piece of what it looks like kind of with the book page. I am going to round the corners. And again, make these any size you want. I, again, think it would be really pretty to build a flower like this, and you could be very intentional about your what papers you're using, instead of like just doing a ScrapBuster like I am, that coordinates with your journal, the theme or the color palette or something. So that would be really pretty. And you could always make it on a piece of paper and then attach that to the journal cover if you're, if you're not sure. So I do like to ink the petals. A bunch of these I've already inked. A bunch I just cut and have not been inked. So we're going to use a variety and just show you how the different shapes and sizes and ones we cut and ones that I already had cut will kind of start to fit together. Now, you can do it right, like this isn't even right in the center. We could do it in the center. I kind of like offsetting them and then trimming them. I think they look kind of cool. This one I could always turn over and trim off if I wanted to. But we'll just start how I tend to like to do them. And I'm going to use just my everyday PVA glue. You could, you could do a glue stick, whatever glue you want. And I just start. So there we go. I started. And how much you choose to overlap your petals or not, again, is up to you. I tend to overlap mine quite a bit. And there, I just got glue on my mat, but that's okay. I think, again, I'm trying to show you how you really can use different size petals and they're going to still look really fun. You don't always have to come right to the point, because we are going to put a circle or a button or something over that. Okay, so we're just going to lay down petals, and I'm going to be kind of eclectic in my choices. And you can always come back later too and get a little more glue up under a petal if you were being trying not to get it all over your mat like I am. All right. And I tend to go in one direction, and then it'll all kind of come together. Now, I kind of wish I had thought through that, because I'm going to cover up where I had some pretty pattern to that paper. But that's all right. We'll just keep going. You never know what they're going to look like until you're done. So I think you can see I'm using different shapes. They're slightly different. You certainly could make yourself a template and cut the petals, if you really wanted one to not look quite as scrappy and you wanted the petals to match more. I tend to just go for it, right? That's me. And I'll try to do one, like I said, we'll try to do a smaller one to show you that as well. And then some things. Now, this one is a very different shape. I use some longer, thinner petals, I think, on this one. But let me find, I tend to like, a little book page, and then we could do a contrast. We could do a real button. There's lots of things we could do. Let's see if I have something already punched out. I wonder what a butterfly. You can do a butterfly in the middle. I tend to already have quite a few punched out, but I like a little contrast. And where did I just sling the circle? You guys probably saw it go somewhere, didn't you? Oh, well, I lost it. It's kind of fun. It's a little big. The circle that I've been using is like 1 1/4 inch, and then come down to one that's, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's a full inch. Let's see. I'm sitting here spending all this time looking for the perfect circle. And I think what I'm going to do is go back. I'll just pull another piece of book page. It jumped somewhere. I don't know where it went. And thinking I might use one of the buttons. Maybe even that one. Now we'll see if this will punch it out. Nope, it's too big. I'm just gonna cut it out with my scissors. And I may do one with a real button, we'll see. But these come together, I mean, cutting the petals might seem a little intimidating at first, but I will tell you, they come together, that's cute, really quickly. And really, what takes the longest, I think, is inking everything, honestly. All right, so let's put that there. And we're going to put this faux button there. Now, I love using the liquid pearls, but you do have to be ready to kind of leave it alone and not mess with it because I mess them up all the time. I kind of wish that the book page was this way. My flower was down here on this one. Once you get these made, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go ahead and just make this shorter. For some reason, I'm just liking that. Go ahead and round those. Now, I'm gonna chop the petals off and show you what that looks like. Super easy. It would be kind of fun if we had this on like a neutral for a, to write on, so I could layer another piece of paper on the back. That's really pretty. Now, I don't even know if in my pile of scraps I have here on my desk, if I have any words. This is from one of my kits. They may be a little big, but I could just cut out like "you are seen." And we can handwrite. I hand wrote on some of the ones I've already made. We could tear these words. Again, make it whatever style you like. I have been, since I got back, I was so excited to be back in my craft room. And I'm very inky. I have been playing this morning. And if you want this to have a little bit of a pop, we could find, a piece of paper to back it onto. Let's do that and see if we like that. I'm gonna put it right here. Cut it out again. This is just a piece of scrapbook paper. But I love, as you guys know, anytime I can use up some of these scraps, I have piles and piles. And I think, what a beautiful card front. I think today is World Card Making Day. Of course, this won't go live today, but when I'm making it, wouldn't this be a beautiful front to a card too? Now we can put a ribbon, we can do all kinds of things. Let me show you how the liquid pearls. Sometimes I go all the way around the petals. Sometimes I just do a dot here and there. It really just depends. I do like putting the liquid pearls, and again, I could have gone ahead and sewn on this, but just put those there. And then I just like what it adds, the little dots. I have used these since my scrapbooking days. And I have another color that I really like. I don't know where it is. I cleaned my desk off and I'm having trouble finding things. But it's just kind of like a pearly color. And I really like that one too. With my vintage stuff, I tend to go to this one. I've been through a bunch of bottles of this color. And again, you don't have to be this generous with the liquid pearls, but you can. You can be extra like me, and it just gives those petals that little extra. You could, if you don't have liquid pearls, you know, you could use a marker, a pen, something, you know, a paint pen, something like that if you wanted to try that. Depending on the color palette, like a white paint pen might be fun if you were doing some darker colors. Okay, I'm almost done, and I'm going to set this aside to dry while we do something else, do another one, and then maybe we'll come back and put a piece of ribbon or something on here. But again, I think it's really important to let these, well, I don't think. It is really important to let these dry, because you'll see on some of the ones I made before coming on camera, I forgot that they were drying. I don't usually go around the circle, but I decided to. I forgot they were drying, and you can probably see, you know, I smudged it. These I just did the tips of the petals. Okay, I'm gonna set these aside, so hopefully I don't mess it up while it's drying. Now, I do want to see what one would look like on a collage masterboard, and I could like turn this into two like bookmark size, but I'm gonna leave it big with the idea, again, I'm not gonna put it on this journal, but it might look cool on the front of a journal, or we could make, you know, a flower. We could probably make one out of fabric too. I think cutting the petals might be a little more challenging, but all right, so we'll do another kind of big one on here, and then I'll try to do a tiny one for you guys and see what that looks like. So I'm going to, I may have to ink some as we go, but I'm going to pick up some of my larger petals, and I'm going to try to do one sort of in the middle and see what happens. I definitely like the book page ones. So if you are new here, welcome. Glad to have you. I hope you enjoy and watch some of my other videos and come back and hang out with us. We have a lot of fun. I love crafting, and I'm usually kind of in this junk journal style, and I make journals and all kinds of things. If you're one of my regular viewers, welcome back. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me today. Definitely makes me happy that you guys hang out with me. All right. So here we go. I'm going to spread them out a little more, and I haven't done one like this in a while, but you can do like I just did and really have them much closer, the petals, or, you know, overlapping a little more. This one I'm going to spread them out, and then we might put some more over top. We'll see how it goes. We will see. Sometimes it's hard to decide what petal you want to pick up. I think I'm going to do a little more of a pattern to this one. I'm going to do every other one a book page. Ha, why not, right? Let's see what happens. And I'm picking patterned petals that were already inked. All right. And you don't have to ink yours if you don't want to. I like the inking. So please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment. I would love a comment. and let me know what you think of the project and if you're going to make some flowers and what you've been up to. Like I said, I have been on vacation. We got back pretty late last night, and so you can stop right there and we could do our center. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to glue them down yet, but if we lay a few like this that kind of come in between the petals, something like this. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we try it just to see what happens? Maybe something like that. I'm kind of wanting to be in between. It starts to come, they start to sort of, I don't know what the right word is, run together, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to bring that up some and be pretty confident that I'm going to cover it up with my circle in the middle. Whew. It's so funny after you've been away for like a week or so, even though I've had videos up for you guys while I was on vacation, it's still really funny getting back into recording and being in my craft room. You kind of have to remember what you're doing and where everything is. Like I said, and I straightened up my desk a little bit before I left, which is a good thing, right? But wow, I'm like, where is everything? It's probably the age of my brain. That's probably what's happening, but that's okay. I'm happy. A good friend of mine that I went to college with, her name's Michelle. She's going to be here, not next weekend, but I think the next weekend. And we're going to just have so much fun. I'm so excited she's going to be in town. We're going to a comedy show and a concert, and we're going to hang out. She actually grew up in Richmond, but hasn't lived here in many years. But her husband does do some business here. Now, I will say this one, with all the collaging underneath and the collaged flower, I feel like it's kind of disappearing on me. So we're going to see what we can do to maybe pop it out some. And we'll see. Or I may just decide that this wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, and I like it better on a book page. I think that's a little too much of a contrast, and that's not the right color palette. So let me look at my scraps that I have here on my desk. I'm almost thinking a flower or something, a little piece punched out from that might be pretty. And then and a little bit some liquid pearl on there. Okay, let's do that. Now I have these, and again, I use these occasionally. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I may decide I hate this, but I'm going to go around the petals just a little bit, and let's see what happens. Now, I could have done it with the liquid pearl, but I'm feeling like this might pop more. Or, like I said, I just decide I like these better on book page with not so much happening. This one, well, I did a couple like this. Like I just put a strip of some patterned paper and then a quote. And I believe that definitely helped too. Okay. I'm going to step back here in just a second, and we're going to look at this and see what we think. It would probably help if I would be a little bit neater. I don't hate it. What do you guys think? Do you hate it? If you do, be nice. It's okay to say, not my favorite, or I liked it better before you added all that paint pen. Okay, almost done with this. And then I think another thing that will help is if I put a quote or some words down in this other section. That will help. I do like these pens. I used them recently for something in a video. Again, it's when you clean your desk off, it is amazing the things you find, isn't it? Are you guys this way when you have the opportunity to be out of town or on vacation and then you get back and you're like, yay, my craft room, you're still here? That's how I was. Okay, not that I thought it was going to have gone anywhere, but let's see. I'm digging through. I thought I had maybe some of my other quotes. I'm not seeing them. I do have this lovely little jar. Now and then you'll meet your past unexpectedly, and usually it's pretty clear why you kept going and left it right where it was. I'm gonna put that on here, but I want to pop it up some. Here's some brown packing paper. That might be fun. What do you guys think? I love getting to use packing paper. The other thing that could help is if I chop this a little and we get that fun look with the petals. So let's do that. That'll make it a little bit different size, and that is not even close to straight. Goodness, Pam. Don't know what I was thinking. I think the paper itself was not straight to begin with. And then I cut a really wonky strip. Okay, we'll see if I can make something happen here. I don't know if the packing paper is doing it for me. It's almost the size, too, of this quote. So we're going to put it back. I need something a little bit longer. Let's see. None of these are quite working. Today is full of possible. That's stamped. Nothing's quite what I want it to be. Here, maybe we'll go today is full of possible, but over here. Let's use the cute little tear ruler. There's nothing like saying, oh, let's try something, and then you're on camera and you're like, I really don't like it. But that's okay. I'm going to persevere. And we're going to put this together. Okay. La-di-da. There we go. Let's do some ink and then see where we're at. A little bit of distressing makes everything better. And I think a piece of ribbon at the top, some ink around the edges. Now this one I did not round the corners, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave it kind of rough because this edge is, you know, not exactly perfect. We'll see what happens. Now, this one with the size it is, I think would do well too if I set an eyelet. So, I think that's about 4. I'm kind of eyeballing the center. All right, I think that's okay. And we'll put one of these jumbo eyelets on here. And some ribbon. And then I'll look at the liquid pearls, maybe just in the center. All right. That's set nicely. You never know. You never know with me and the crocodile. We have a love-hate relationship. All right. Set that one down. I have all different kinds of colors going on in here. Thinking that blue might be pretty with the blue petal. No, I wish it was a touch darker. That's not the right color at all. And this, I feel like the navy is too much. Maybe I should go just with some browns. I have some new seam binding coming, new packs coming soon to my shop. I'm gonna try to get those up this week sometime. I don't think I need a ribbon quite this long, but let's put it through and then trim it. All right, what do you guys think of this one? It's a little busy, but I do like that flower. Yeah, I definitely don't need this much ribbon. And I'm also thinking it might look better. Sometimes I have a hard time deciding how I like my ribbon. Maybe with a bow. Just because it is big. Okay. I sometimes can make a decision really quick, and then sometimes this happens. And it may be because I haven't gotten to craft in a while. That could be it too. All right, we're gonna go with a bow, and I'm glad I didn't trim the ribbon because I do think it is close to the right length. Okay, for now, I'm leaving it. It's a little wonky. Let's put, and I'll set it aside to dry. Let's put like 3 kind of large dots to make that look like a fancy faux button. Okay? All right, setting it aside. This one is still drying, but I really like it. Now, let's try, I haven't made a tiny one in a while. Let's try to make a little one and see what happens. And this is just some book page that I have already glued together so that it has a nice thickness. And I'm going to, what is this? This is 6. I'm going to make it 3 by 4. So we have 2 of them that we can play with, but we'll play with 1 to start with. And I am going to round the corners and go ahead and get it inked, and then we'll try to build a little bit smaller flower, but same concept. And see where we're at. Now, most of these petals that I've already cut are fairly large, but I do have some that are approximately that size. Instead of sitting here and digging through, though, I'm probably going to, it's a little bit bigger, I'm probably going to just cut some that are a little closer to this size. But I do think that'll be pretty using several of that pattern paper. And I think I want some of this. So let's, oh, that was already kind of folded. Let's fold it over and see if I can cut some smaller ones. That was on the fold. Okay. So, and maybe then a few smaller ones out of some book page. I was also going to show you guys what it might look like to do some round ones. We'll see how long we've been crafting by the time I finish this one and then decide. Okay, now that was definitely smaller. That's about a little closer to that size. All right. I feel like I said, we could make a template, but then I feel like it would take me a very long time to make these, and I kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they're a little more organic and kind of junk journal-y, scrappy than if all the petals were perfect. Because in nature, flowers, you know, I mean, sometimes you see the flower and like, that is absolutely perfect, right? But part of the reason to me, trees, flowers, plants, everything is so pretty is that they're not exactly symmetrical, right? So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, we're going to do kind of this peach and green and book page and see what happens. I'm going to bring this one over to this side a little bit. Yeah, I like it. I do like these colors together. Put that one up a little more. And I was trying not to get into like a super duper pattern this time. I'm gonna just lay them down. Decided that one needed to be a little bit tinier. All right, and if you guys have ideas of how you might use these, or what you think would be, you know, an idea of what might be pretty, let me know. I always love hearing your fabulous ideas. All right. There we go. See how this one's just going to be a little tinier? I think it's cute. All right, put it there. And then maybe we'll use, this is a different paper. Make it a little bit smaller. Something a touch different. Right there. And then, you know, one more. I was thinking it could be a book page, but I think I'm going to use that green. Okay. And now, because we are going, you know, we're a little bit smaller, I am going to punch. That's not a circle. I'm going to punch a circle. This one I'm going to use part of this collage masterboard and see what we think. That might be kind of fun. Or not. I'll decide here in a second. We could do that. It still looks big. Let's go smaller. And I can always layer another one on there if we want to, but let's see, is this size better? Maybe that with a little button. Let's see. And I do not have my hot glue on. Let me turn it on real quick and see if it'll heat up. What do you guys think? I think that will be very cute. Let's tie a piece of twine in the actual button instead of this piece of metal. And look at me, I just opened up my button drawer and there was a green button that is in the right colors, and I didn't look at 75,000 buttons. I need a little positive reinforcement. I like both sides. I think this is supposed to be the back of the button, and then that's a little bit lighter. I like both. Not quite sure yet what I'm going to do. All right. See. And I never know if I'm staying on camera at all when I am doing this. All right. I'm going to cross it like this and then have the tail, leave the tails kind of long. We'll see what we think. Not this long, but trim them off after I glue it down. Okay, so I'm going to trim the petals off. And get some ink. All right, this one I'm just going to glue down with a regular glue. Pretty pretty. And then I'm thinking it might help this one to have a little strip of paper for some contrast while we're letting that hot glue heat up too. A little bit of contrast down here. I love these colors. I think this one is going to be one of my favorites. Let's do You Are Heard. And again, you can use these words all together, or you can do what I'm doing. Write them up. I'm trying to remember which kit these are in. It's one of my more recent kits. I apologize. I can't always remember. All right. You Are Heard. Now, because I'm actually putting a real button, I may skip doing any of the liquid pearls. We'll see, but all right, You Are Heard. And then that's going to be so cute. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I think I'm going to take a strip of this. See if it's long enough, just to reinforce back here, just a touch, and then we'll do a slot and some type of ribbon at the top, like a slot punch. But this will, adding this little piece of cardstock will make the back look a little finished, but it will also, when I go to punch my hole here, where'd my slot punch go? Well, I said I was going to use the slot punch, but sometimes I get a little wild with my tools when I'm crafting, and they just end up all over the place. Here it is. You guys could probably see it the whole time. All right. So now it will punch through the cardstock and the book page, and it gave us just a touch more structure. Woo, that's not the right color green. What about, I wonder what this one would look like. That would be pretty. I probably have a seam binding that might be pretty too. It's a little more green than I want. I think that one's perfect. And it's a tiny piece, so we'll see if it's long enough. I like the big ones, but this little one is cute. But if you have a big pile of scraps, you know, even like if you're watching TV or you're watching videos or something, you could sit and cut like a whole big pile of petals and then have a whole lot of fun making flowers. All right. And again, if you want to sew this on instead of doing the hot glue, you could do that. All right. I think this might be one of my favorites. Isn't that cute? All right, let me see how long I'm gonna set this. I'm gonna leave it on in case we need it. How long? We're at 44 minutes. Y'all wanna see really quick, and I wanted to put a bow on that other one that's drying. I'm gonna just cut a few more petals that look more this shape, and we'll see what they look like, okay? And for whatever reason, I tend to do pointier petals, but I do think this will work, and someone might like this shape better. So let's just see what it looks like, okay? All right, I want another color of paper. Let's do this green again. There we go. That one was chubby. All right, and do one a little bit smaller. Okay, let's see what happens. I've got at least 2 patterns and some book page, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna just use this smaller piece again, even though the petals are a little bit larger. I think it'll work. It'll be okay. All right, tell me if you guys have a preference after we see what this one looks like, if you which shape petal you like. That would be fun to know. And since my scissors tend to cut the other shape, I don't really think about it. That's just the shape my petals ended up being until I intentionally tried to make round ones. But tell me which ones you like, or if you like them both, okay? All right, I'm gonna round the corners but do a smaller one, just because I can. Make it a little different. And I may later have wished I used a larger piece of paper, but we'll see. Okay. You see me toss that onto the floor. Goodness, Pam. All right, fun. Here we go. And I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just gonna start gluing them down. And probably get glue on my craft pad because I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. Okay. Let's do one of these. And again, because we're gonna cover up the center, if your petals, if you don't want that petal being quite so short, just, it doesn't have to be on the exact center point, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Oh, I think this is pretty. I'm liking it. Oops, there goes my garage door. That means my husband or my daughter are either coming or going, and I'm pretty sure my husband is at the car wash. He wanted to take his truck after our vacation and clean it. It had a lot of bugs on it from the interstate. So there we go. And let's punch. You know, I wonder what it'll look like if I use that and maybe a book page. One that's out of the book page too. Let's see. All right, so this is, I think, a 1 inch, right? Is that what I said earlier? Yes, this is a 1 inch, and so I think this is like 5/8. All right, so it's definitely a different shape. And even though the petals look weird in the middle, once you put your circle or your button down, I think it's fine. Now, would it look better trimmed? I don't know. So let's trim it, and then we'll know if we liked it better before we trimmed it. Ooh. It just is, these are just fun. Yeah. What a mess. Okay. That's half of the fun, though, is making a mess. All right. Now, this is pretty to me. There isn't a lot of contrast because I only used 3 different papers. But that's okay. And we could even orient it this way. And let's do a little torn topper right? Like just like that. And I'll trim it off here in a second once I get it glued down, and a piece of ribbon. And again, if we want to do a word, we could do a word. Let's just put this down just like that. And I'm going to just curve it around. If you need to add extra glue, you can. I haven't done a great job of gluing this one. I'm getting I'm doing a good job though, putting glue on my scissors. Okay. Oh, I love this. And then let's put "You Are Loved." I think it'll fit okay on here. I cut it a little close, but that's all right. Because I want to put a ribbon up there. I was thinking I could put the word there. I cut off part of the letters a little bit. Oopsie. You are loved. That might have looked better if I put some of the green underneath. And let's use a tiny piece of this. And I'm just going to, because this one's so little, I am going to staple it. And we'll see if we like it. Cuteness. All right. I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna add some of those. This one might be cute, especially with this one big petal here. Yeah, I'm gonna go around these really quick, and then we will put a ribbon on the one we were letting dry, and I will let you guys go. If you're still here, thanks for staying with me. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop me a comment. Tell me which of the flower styles are your favorite. I'm gonna show you the other one here again in just a moment. After, yeah, I like that. I put those dots down. They're just fun. Okay, these were ones that I made off camera with that other shape. This is the one if I decide to put a bow on it or a ribbon. All right, we made this one of my favorites. This was the one on the master board. I think I'm gonna leave this one without a ribbon. It may get a ribbon later because you know how I am about slapping a ribbon on something. All right, I hope those of you that requested this video, this was helpful and you enjoyed the tutorial. And until next time, have a great sparkly day.